Now what I'm going to show you here is when the Great Pyramid was laid out, under each of the corners was 4 huge blocks with fine chiseled lines that if you was to place a pyramid and build it on that point there, you'd end up with something like that. All right. So what we end up with is a building that is actually built in 286.1 perimeter. And most people have no idea. I've never seen anyone mention it, except for Raymond C. Capt years ago. And he called it the displacement factor, but he doesn't really know what it is. So I won't go into it right now because it's not important. However, when looking from above now, and you go to there and make it something like that. That goes up, that width up there, down again, that's the square of it, and that number there is this width. So we do it like that, across to there. And the number is 90121638 and divided by 1000, and you got your 9012 point. Right. That means if you was to erect, and they have done, a pyramid on this point here, put this one on it. Get rid of that, we don't want it. So they now have erected, and this is the actual structure, up to this point here. Don't need that line there. We zoom in, I'll just show you up close. This is the actual summit platform. That line there goes straight across the other side. This is where the capstone was supposed to fit. However, when the capstone shows up, it's going to be overhanging like so. Right, and down there. So it's rejected. It's too big for the job. Some idiot ordered God and it showed up. That's basically what's happened. They never thought God would show up. So I'll just get rid of that for the moment. So what we have then is 19.47 degrees from the centre of the circle of the summit platform. This never showed up, this bit here. So we get rid of that. I'll do it again to where it actually starts from, which is there. All right, so up, across, and down. But that is the angle it's got to come up at. So when we do that, we have a circle that we can find, calculating from this point to that point, the centre of it. And then we come up at 19.47 degrees. Where it hits this circle here, because now we've got to make a circle, and we do it like this. We've got to make a circle. We go down to there, the base, that's where it's got to be. Okay. So now, what we're going to do, where it comes out through that circle, we've got a line going across there. That's the centre of it. So, that's pretty easy going. And we have a circle. Now, what's interesting is, if you'll notice that the circle is at the centre of the circle, it overflows past this angle going up. So what we do is we go to the surface of the pyramid, which is an actual structure. It's there, we can measure it, it's not mathematical. Run a line through it to that point there, and it comes 3347. Now the 3347, it goes on, of course, 7409. The 7409 means to gather animals together, and they mention mules or donkeys or camels or sheep, doesn't matter, or human beings. Because the Talmud, which the Zionists that occupy all the high places in the world, called the Illuminati, and control the horrors of Israel. No one in Israel, Jews, want it, but they've got to put up with it, what these bastards do. And that means to gather together, 7409. So we'll just go up and show you that. Zoom in. That number there, 7409, is to gather animals for any purpose into a gathering. This one is 3347, is to burn the people, literally burn the people. Now, what I want to do is show you an aerial view of the Olympic Stadium. Now, underneath here is all of the tubes, right? And the tube looks like this. Where are we? Looks like that. So, what you end up doing, all reports are that on the 6th of the 6th, this is when Venus was transiting the face of the sun, which is very, very rare event, 120 odd years or 240 odd years. This is, can you imagine we're going to put an atomic weapon deep underground here? Now what happens, as they did with the Twin Towers, when the weapon goes off, it vaporizes the rock and then everything collapses into it. So the whole stadium would collapse, is designed to collapse, and there's all the people are going to be killed, burnt alive with the explosion, the light, the concussion, the radiation. However, anyone travelling on a train, and at this time of year, usually there's about 500,000 people travelling the train around midday on a Saturday, going into town, do the shopping, or whatever they do. That's 500,000 people. They're going to be incinerated. Now what will happen is the pressure goes off and a shock wave comes out and goes down every tube, no matter where it is. If it's connected, it's going to get a blast. So let us say there's a train here, or several trains. The concussion comes along, the air pressure is so high that it'll push these trains like they were pellets in a BB gun. And they will come along here, the acceleration will be so great that people in the trains would be either crushed by the impact and the explosion, or as the train accelerates away, they'll be all thrust to the back and crushed upon each other. And then the trains would run into each other and they'd be concertinaed. And by the time you got here, you might have 5 or 6 trains up against the end of the tunnel in a carnage of unbelievable horror. 500,000 people. They, of course, will blame Iran or some Muslim country, but primarily Iran. Iran is the one they're after. They'll blame Iran. Well, Iran would never do this in a million years. There's no way you could convince Iran to do that. That's against the laws of Muhammad, as interpreted by their Majid representative, the Caliph for an immense number of clerics. They have prophecies to go by, an interpretation of the actual language and the stars and all that kind of thing. They go with all of that stuff. So that's what's going to happen. Right, now we know this is going to happen because, and we go back to this here, how do we arrive at all of this? How does it get that date? Well, the distance across this circle, so I'll do a measure here of that, there to there, that distance we're at the centre of the circle, we got this up here, we got this coming around here, we've got this business across here, But how do we determine it? Well, the sunlight for London on the 4th will be 909 minutes. Okay? So, half of 909 is the height of the pyramid up to the missing capstone. And that number is 5454 inches. Therefore, we know that this is accurate because it's coming off the side of this big block that's placed down here, and it's all marked out. So looking from the top, you'd have a piece across there and up there, and a big square. So that's what these looks under each side. So that isn't the number they're working from. So that gives you that number there. Then we have the centre of this circle, because the circle is determined by this line going up here, which is the line where it's pointing towards the storm on Mars at 19.47 degrees. Then we can go across here and we measure that. That gives us 3347. This is to burn people, and this is to bring them all together. The 7409 to bring them together. You can find that online quite easily. There it is there. That's the number there. This is it's called the Blue Letter Bible. It's okay for doing numbers like this. I wouldn't recommend it for anything else. So there's your number there, 3347. And the other number is 7409. So put that in. 7409. That's the right number though. 7409. And we have to gather together steeds, horses, mule, dromedaries, swift beast. Now, in the other more accurate concordance, which is one I've had for 20 years, it also says to gather animals for any purpose. Right? That's what it means. And if you read through all those, it'll give you some idea that's what's happening. This is 1 Kings 4:28, Esther 8:10, Esther 8:14, Micah 1:13. So I was referring to beast, mules, and dromedaries. Animals. You are an animal according to the Talmud and the belief of the Queen and everyone who is associated with the Freemasons at the top level, Illuminati. They all believe that this only way to appease God and for them to survive is to exterminate everybody else. So that's how we come up with the numbers. They intend fully to kill as many people as possible and detonate at least 5 other cities throughout Europe and blame Iran. Now, the point being, if they were to get away with it, certainly you'd have World War III. Then you'd have plutonium, which is the most deadly poison on Earth, spreading around the world, and it will kill all life. And Lucifer, or demons, if you like, a better word, will win. Kill you all, and they will become God. That's what they think they can do. Now, they've bullshitted the world into saying, well, Jesus didn't really exist, did he? What about ghosts? No such thing. Reincarnation? No, that's bullshit. How about, angels? They must be real. No, that's bullshit. Everything's bullshit as far as the universities and scientists are concerned, because they're dominated by the same Illuminati, which is the Rothschilds, and of course the Rockefellers. That's how they do it. They've got you totally brainwashed, convinced and poisoned that they can do anything to you and you'll love it. Bertrand Russell predicted it. So there it is. That's how it all comes together. And unless you and spread the word real quick. That's what's going to happen. Is that right, my dude?
Yes, babe.